Hello and welcome to another 3ABN Today live program. We're just so glad that you have joined us this evening. One of the reasons is you're part of the 3ABN family.
That's right.
Appreciate you and for your continued prayers and your financial support for your ministry, ultimately God's ministry, 3ABN. And Jill, tonight's program, wow, we look forward to these every year. This has been, I want to say, kind of a may I say an annual tradition of the Eakins being here. Paula and Curtis Eakins are in the house, right? Praise the Lord. And we're going to be talking about a really serious topic this evening, and that has to do with diabetes. And when they always come here, it seems like I always kind of smell something cooking in the kitchen too, right? They always come to do a little cooking here too.
They do indeed, and we have a whole program. The second hour is all cooking in the kitchen with Curtis and Paula, so you want to make sure you stay tuned for the second hour as they bring us some Mexican cuisine. But tonight's all about defeating diabetes. And some of our favorite people in the whole world is Curtis and Paula Eakins. They are, of course, the South Central Conference Health Ministries co-directors. And why is it co-directors instead of like president and vice president? Maybe you could give us some insight into what happened with that.
I was thinking about that too. How come it's not president and vice president?
So I need to be president
and
and vice
two
president?
presidents. No, it has to be two presidents because it can't be a president and a vice.
We need to go back
So
to the president of South Central Conference and kind of renegotiate that term. Yeah, we never thought, after 15 years, we never thought about that. Yeah. So, our President Ben Jones will be talking to you shortly. Anyway, no, we're equal partners.
There you go.
Equal partners. Let's do it that way because I want to be my 31st marriage to my wife, so let's keep it going.
Wow.
Yeah, equal partners.
Congratulations too, though. That's a lot. 31 years. You said.
Yeah, so actually 32. We actually dated because we have like interests on health. I was a medical herbalist. And everything can be cured by herbs. And I knew that I was unbalanced. I need somebody to know something about nutrition.
Okay.
My mom said, oh, there's a lady, she just graduated, got her master's degree in nutrition, and Paula Johnson at the time, and so I contacted her, said, look, I want to start a medical missionary workshop on the campus of Oakwood College, the New Girls Dorm, Wade Hall. I'll do the herbal part, and I said, honey, you do, well, I didn't say honey at first. I said, you do the nutrition part. And so that's how I started, was working together for at least 6 months, every once a month on Sunday. And we started working together as a team, and then after a while, I said, Lord, get her for me. She pleases me well. So I kind of jumped a whole lot on that one.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, a whole lot, yeah. But so we started because we have a like interest on health.
Amen. So 32 years. Congratulations to both of you. So this role here with the South Central Conference, you've been with them and with the health ministries for about, what, 14, 15 years?
Yeah, 15 years now. Yes, South Central Conference, so we're great for that.
But tell us also about your ministry, because you all have one of the longest running, continually running programs on 3ABN called, that's right, Abundant Living. Good job. And so it's like 28 years, 28 years on 3ABN, which is incredible. Yes. And the Lord has blessed you both. You guys haven't aged. You look great. It's a testimony to the Lord Jesus Christ.
Could you say that again? Did they pick that up?
We could say that again, and Paula just had a birthday.
She did. It's been a busy, fun week, right?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you as well.
And I always say age is just a number, and mine is unlisted. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So,
wow, that's great.
But for a cause, I can reveal her.
No, you won't.
No. Okay, never mind. Ooh, she just kicked me on the table.
That's a shame.
Okay,
let's kind of move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Yeah, because we're going downhill.
But talk to us though about your ministry though, because you all have your own ministry too. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So our ministry was South Central Conference first, but before that, it was our ministry, Health Seminars Unlimited. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization, started back in the 1990s, right after we were married, and also doing business as the Abundant Living Center as well. And we're looking at a facility there in Huntsville, and that's still open and available, so we're still pursuing that as well. So we want to help, so we've been traveling quite a bit throughout the United States, Canada, Caribbean. We want to settle down and let people come to where we are, minister to them. And so my wife has the gift of hospitality and cooking. I mean, this is an art. It's worth 10 talents. There's a cookbook called 10 Talents. It really is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
And I just love research all day long. So, I mean, really, so together we just want to, have this facility. So, but again, it's also Abundant Living Center. It's not there yet, but it's in Huntsville. Property's there. So,
I mean, let's just talk about that then. So what do we need to do to make this happen?
Well, like I said before, we're 501c3 nonprofit organization, so help on my email and telephone number that people can contact us and learn more about the Abundant Living Center.
Yeah, so in order to make this happen, we need funds.
Yes,
yes. That's the key. So in other words, this whole facility that you're talking about, I love this because it's a place that's in the country, and we've seen pictures of this place. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. And you can contact the Eakins and they can tell you more about it, but really it requires funding in order to purchase this beautiful piece of property.
Yes.
And like we said, in God's timing, right?
Yes, in God's timing.
There are people, then we talk about this all the time, that if you feel impressed with the Holy Spirit to give, then give, because the Lord will bless in a mighty way. And the ministry that you all have and had is just incredible. And I like this idea of people coming to, you would call it not an Airbnb, but more of like a retreat center. That's right.
Yeah. This is not a place where people can stay for a long period of time. You have the Uchee Pines, Wildwood, and Weimars for 14 days, 21 days, etc. This will come where people come for maybe a day or two, get the information. We teach them how to fish, and therefore hands-on cooking instruction, their own cooking stations.
You're talking with you both?
Yes.
With you?
Yeah, right there at the facility.
Wow.
We also have gardening. Huntsville, Alabama is in Zone 7A, so you can garden all year long.
Wow.
And so also about gardening, have your own gardening, weed-free. We're talking about gardening in the kitchen, all right, and 4x8 raised bed garden, and also, of course, the PowerPoint presentation on different diseases as well, with workbooks included. So it's a wonderful facility.
So the plan, go ahead, Paula.
I think the thing is that, when we travel, people are always saying, I would love to come where you are.
Right.
Our thing is individuals. If they come as an individual, they've got all kind of stuff going on. It might be a disease they're going through or family issue they're going through. It could be something that's really going on. They want to be more personable. And we want to be able to have them come aside and rest a while. So that's why this center is important. They can come aside. They can go out and sit in nature, read the Word of God, get some real good food. They're actually going to work in the kitchen with me. I'm not going to be cooking. They're going to work at their own stations, right? So they can go back home. And the same thing as Curtis saying with the garden, get their hands in the soil. They're actually going to take a plant home with them. But our goal is that when we finish with them there at the center, they're ready to go home and teach their family and their community what to do. So that's why, we're not going to be a place where they can come with a disease. We're going to be a place for education.
Educate, educate, educate. Sherman Lewis says that 3 times. Educate, educate, educate. Lifestyle medicine.
So before we move on to talking about diabetes, because that is tonight's topic, is diabetes, I want to go talk about just this facility, because again, we're not talking about a piece of bare land. This is incredible. The stuff that you showed us is that you've got a kitchen that's, could we say, almost fully furnished. You've got buildings. It's all there, right? Talk to us a little about some of those details.
When I walked into this kitchen, I just had a fit. I mean, I'm like, okay,
my wife, when she saw the kitchen, my wife started drooling. I had to kind of start wiping her mouth, all down the sides.
No, we don't need to
discuss. Okay, it's a little bit too much. Okay, go ahead, honey.
It's got a lot of room that you can actually put people in the kitchen.
That's amazing.
Stations for them to sit also. I would say maybe 4 to 6 people could be in the kitchen with me. But then we have another area that's outside. That's a big area.
A separate building,
where we can
1,500 square foot, transform that into the Abundant Living main facility of education.
Wow.
See, this to me is why, and just as my opinion, I believe that God has this place for you all. I really do, because, to build now is very expensive. You have buildings already there. It's a beautiful piece of land in the country, mature trees, bushes. It can be in nature. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And I'm just going to go out there, is that in order to get this piece of property, you can talk to them about more of the details, but we're talking about several $100,000. For some of you, that's no issue. It's like, oh, you know what? I believe in the Eakins and their ministry, what they're doing, and this is education, education, education. And that's so important, because then people can take that back, the knowledge they have learned there at the retreat center, to their communities, to their churches, and share that, and that ripple grows bigger and bigger. So the impact is huge. It's not just for one person, or 2 people, or 3 people. This gets bigger and bigger. So again, very excited about that. Contact them, though. You can see the number's been up on the bottom of the screen here, or the email, and you can get more information. They'll give you pictures and stuff, because this is an incredible opportunity for them. So I'm excited about it.
I do want to say too, Greg, and that not only people coming in, but also when pastors come to town, and they need a hideout place,
Right.
they can come. We're going to have a thing for Valentine's Day, for Christmas time, for a pastor's retreat. They can actually come there and stay as well. So educate all the way around, all the way around.
That's really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So tonight's, go ahead, babe.
I was just going to say I love the concept.
Me too.
We really believe here at 3ABN, Greg and I personally, and at 3ABN, we
yeah.
believe in what God is doing in and through your ministry.
Absolutely.
I love the concept of the education combined with what am I trying to say? You have to know why you do what you do.
That's true.
In order to make a change.
Yes, yes.
Because that is so vital. You can say, okay, you need to eat plant-based. Well, great. After a week, I'm sick of plant-based. I don't want to do it. I have to know why I need to do this.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that's why the education is so important. And speaking of that, tonight we're talking about diabetes.
Yes, that's
So
right. Defeating diabetes.
what is diabetes and why do we even need to be talking about diabetes tonight?
Okay, so now this is, you see the banner there as well. Hopefully you can
Do.
zoom in on that as
Love
well.
that.
And so, number one, let me just first define the term. And we're going to put as much as we can in this first hour. Now, this is a 3-hour Defeating Diabetes conference. We're going to crunch it down in about 40 minutes or so, okay? So, and you're going to be part of this discussion as well.
You mean
so,
Jill and I? Jill and
Yes.
I? Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
So what is
Okay.
diabetes? In simplified terms, diabetes is when blood sugar, glucose, remains abnormally high in the bloodstream.
Okay.
So when I say blood sugar, glucose remains abnormally high in the bloodstream. Now, what is high? Well, there's two ways to determining how it's high as far as diabetes is concerned. Short term is a finger prick. All right, and this is a fasting blood sugar. You haven't had anything to eat, let's say, for 8 hours. And if that number is 126 or higher, that's a diabetic.
Okay.
All right, that's short term. All right, finger prick. All right, at that moment, diabetic. All right, a long term is what we call a A1C. Now, A1C, hemoglobin, red blood cells. We get red blood cells every 3 months. All right, so here's a red blood cell. On top of the red blood cell is the glucose. So if you check the red blood cells, you also check the glucose and know the glucose over the period of 2 to 3 months, since red blood cells last for 3 months, depending on when you check it. So that's more of a long-term, more definitive way of determining whether or not a person is a diabetic, all right? A1C is what it's called. Now, if that number percentage is 6.5 or higher, then you're a diabetic. So there's the short term determining what that is, and there's a long term. So that's what diabetes is. And so now, when that number is really high, it has a tremendous impact on the economic impact of the United States and the world when it's really high.
The world.
So,
Okay.
The world.
the world, because this is the epidemic.
Wow.
This is the epidemic. So, I want you guys to hold on to your seat.
Okay, I got it. I got a hold of my seat.
Ready?
Yeah, okay, yes.
I said that one time my wife was holding on to her seat, and she know what I'm going to say, but she still holds on to her seat. When blood sugar, glucose, once the A1C reach around 7% or higher, or 154, that's the finger prick, or higher,
Okay.
more or less corresponds to one another, and when you start seeing very serious problems with the body from head to toe.
What type of symptoms would somebody develop?
Okay, let me start from the head and go down to the toe. Number one, diabetes is the leading cause of adult blindness.
Oh, wow.
The leading cause.
The leading cause of adult blindness. When blood sugar is abnormally high, all right, it damages the retina of the eye. Therefore, the term is diabetic retinopathy.
Okay.
All right. So the leading cause of adult blindness with high blood sugar that's sustained, uncontrolled. All right. That's number one. Let's go down to the heart. When a person has diabetes, then there's less blood flow, so it increases the risk of a heart attack and death, 2 to 4 times more than a person who does not have diabetes. So a lot of times on a death certificate, it may have died of a heart attack, but the underlying cause was diabetes.
Wow.
That is amazing.
Let's go down to the stomach.
Okay.
I used to work at a Huntsville hospital the first 2 years in digestion. And so when there's a high degree of blood sugar, glucose in the bloodstream, it damages the nerves of the stomach. Now, there's a medical term called gastroparesis. Gastro means stomach. Paresis means paralyzed.
Oh.
So gastroparesis,
Okay.
blood sugar damages the stomach and paralyzes the stomach.
So it no longer digests?
So therefore, exactly. So now the stomach does not empty the food out as it should. Now you have bloating, gas, and bad breath, and vomiting, and sickness, and nausea. And I've seen, and I work in the Huntsville Hospital in the area of digestion, I've seen people who have food undigested in the stomach. When we do an endoscopy, a flexible tube goes into the stomach, and look at that. The kidneys. Diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure.
Oh, wow.
My.
The leading cause of kidney failure. It damages the kidneys, all right? So therefore, a lot of people are on dialysis due to diabetes.
Wow.
Now, let's go down to the foot. Exhibit A.
Oh.
Ooh, my.
That's what I want them to say. Oh my. Diabetes damages
That's
the
pretty blunt.
nerves. Let me see. Oh, there you go. Yeah, they got it. Yeah. You can see that. Yeah, half the foot, the toe is gone.
Yeah.
Diabetes damages the nerves of the foot and the fingers. So therefore, there's a term for that. It's
Neuropathy?
called, there you go, diabetic neuropathy, all right? Nerve damage. So the last 7 years at the Huntsville Hospital, I worked in the area of surgery, all right? And so one of the surgical procedures that I dread the most in assisting is amputations.
Yeah.
So typically what happens is that typically the big toe goes first. If those can look at the big toe, that goes first. And then the half a foot, and then at the ankle, above the knee, and below the knee and above the knee. It's usually in that order. Somebody's foot, somebody's leg is taken off 154,000 times in this country every 3.5 minutes. Someone is having their foot and leg removed.
Wow.
In the United States. So therefore, this is an economic impact. I remember one nurse doing a surgical procedure. A guy came in, grown man, in the operating room. It's too late for me to do a PowerPoint presentation. We're about to take off his foot.
Right.
So the nurse was doing we call it a betadine scrub for 5 minutes to, clean the place where we're going to do the operation. So she was cleaning his foot. And she said, as she was cleaning the foot before the operation, the big toe just fell off. Wow. It was just that bad.
And
right?
that has to do with what? Circulation? Is that what's
Poor circulation,
Okay.
high glucose, blood glucose
Isn't that
in the bloodstream. So it damages the nerves in the fingers and also the foot. So this is something that I dread the most in assisting, and I hate to do this surgical procedure to assist in right before lunch.
Oh,
It ruins my lunch.
of course.
Because it's an eerie feeling to take off somebody's foot, leg, and I held this foot and leg in my hand, and I hand it off to a circulating nurse. I mean, it's an eerie feeling. Then I hand the doctor, the surgeon a stitch, and he just go ahead and sew up the wound, all right?
It's so sad because that's altering somebody's life, right?
Yeah.
To lose a foot, to lose part of a leg. I mean, and most of it is what? It doesn't need to happen
It
if
doesn't
the diet
need to
was
happen.
right. Yep.
One of my best friends in high school, just recently, he's a diabetic. Then I heard that he had lost a limb, amputation, and then just this year, he died. My next door neighbor. We had a class on diabetes at our church. And I told my next door neighbor, I knew he was a diabetic, and I said, hey, this is free, open to the public.
Yeah.
He didn't attend. He's died, all right? And so therefore, now the thing about this is, once a person has an amputation, be it a foot or a leg, because it has a dramatic impact psychologically
course.
and depression, that 18% of people who have an amputation, 18% of people die within the first 90 days because they can't handle a loss of a limb.
Yeah.
50% of people, 65% of people die within the next 5 years.
65%?
Yes, within the next 5 years.
Yes.
So once you lose a limb, a leg, or foot, whatever, the economic impact, the emotional drama about that, some people have no will to live, and 18% are dead in 90 days. So that's why we're talking about this is a multi-system disease.
Yes.
Because blood sugar, glucose, is everywhere in the blood. So since every organ and gland needs blood for nutrients, then every organ and gland is going to be affected.
Yeah.
Because the glucose is high in the bloodstream.
Yep.
So that's why it has a great economic impact as far as our health is concerned. So that's why this is so passionate to me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've seen this firsthand.
Yeah.
I've seen one man go in the hospital and the operating room, and there's tears in his eyes.
Yep.
It's too late for a PowerPoint presentation. So that's why we're on the other end of that. So I'm going to leave this foot on here as Exhibit A, as a reminder. If left unchecked, then it can damage the leg, the foot, the fingers, etc. And so if you see this foot here, get a close-up of this, if it looks like this, we don't cut the foot here, we cut it above at the ankle,
Yeah.
all right? Just above the deadened portion of the foot as well, all right? So any questions or comments on that? Because that's the impact of diabetes, not only in the United States, but also in the world. And we here in Huntsville, Alabama, where we live, the state of Alabama, has one of the highest rates of diabetes in the country. In the country.
Wow.
So we live in the heart of the diabetes belt.
What percentage of people have diabetes in America?
By 11%.
11.
But now in Mobile, Alabama, a city in Alabama, their percentage is 18.
Ooh.
Way past the normal percentage throughout the United States. And so it's about 40 million people who have diabetes in the United States. 40 million. Another 90 million have pre-diabetes, and most don't even know because there's very little symptoms. So we're going to have at the end of this presentation, get your pencil and pad out, we're going to have a test, 6 questions.
Ooh.
Because a lot of people, they may not get diagnosed or may not get tested, but they're pre-diabetic or even a diabetic and don't even know it. So we have some questions, so be prepared. We have some questions, and you'll be taking this test too.
Okay, good.
Yay.
And so therefore, because I want to make sure that people understand that a lot of people are listening who are pre-diabetic or even diabetic and don't even know it.
Right.
Correct.
It can get worse. It can get worse. So that's why this is a very prevalent topic for this evening.
So I'm thinking we have lots of people watching then who are diabetic and who struggle with diabetes. So is my life expectancy shortened? Do I have to die? Am I going to go through these amputations? Is there anything I can do since I already have diabetes to reverse the effects of this?
Yes. So life expectancy is usually reduced about 5 to 6 years. If you're a diabetic, just take off 5 to 6 years off your life on the average, all right? So with that in mind, so now we're going to do something that is not highlighted as much when it comes to this topic, okay? So a lot of times you hear a lot about nutrition, carbohydrates, we're going to talk about that, exercise, that kind of thing. But now there's one thing that has a dramatic impact on diabetes that's not being talked about. And we're going to take a little time on that, all right? Greg put on his glasses, so he looks very astute at this time.
No, I'm trying to actually see my paper here, taking a few notes. Trying to help my cause in case I'm asked some questions.
So over the years, my wife and I, a guy gave us this, we used to do a presentation called The 7 Spiritual Stress Busters, all right? So let me say this, that there's been some research as of late that stress, chronic stress, can impact diabetes. That's not really being talked about as much. You hear a lot about nutrition, carbohydrates, exercise, and that kind of thing, but stress can have a dramatic impact on increasing the risk of diabetes. There was an article just done just a few years ago. It's a medical journal called Current Diabetes Review, all right, just came out a few years ago. And the topic of this article is entitled Chronic Stress and Diabetes, Interwoven Pathologies. In other words, how stress and diabetes are interwoven together and impact diabetes. When a person is in chronic stress mode, worry a lot. Number one, it reduces the insulin that the body produces. That's number one. Number two, it does not use insulin as effectively. You probably heard the term insulin resistance.
Yes.
All right? And number three, it's hard to get a good balance of your glucose when a person is really under stress or worry a lot. So with that in mind, we go through what we call the 7 spiritual stress busters. Now, it's been a while since we've done this, so I had my wife to talk about this as well. So one of the things that we put on our screen during this presentation, let's put this on the screen first of all, because and we're going to walk this through, all right? So let's go to the screen. This is our first graphic, all right? So I'll read it to you. All right, here it is, all right? This is Mind, Character, and Personality, Book 2, page 473. Now, listen to these words, quote, our Heavenly Father, underscore, measures and weighs every trial before he permits it to come upon the believer. All right? Now, so we need that on the screen. Our Heavenly Father measures and weighs every trial before he permits it to come to the believer. All right? So with that in mind, we've been doing this, I guess, what, 20 years or so? And by the way, when our Pastor Lee, he came, Pastor Lee, he said this to our church. He said, this is his favorite quote from his author, Ellen G. White. Wow. His favorite quote. I think he said, if he should pass, he said, put this quote on my tombstone or something like that. I mean, really, didn't he say that, honey?
It is a powerful
I mean, it's a powerful. So, honey.
We can trust God.
Yeah, so trust God. Because if not, it's going to impact diabetes.
Wow.
And blood pressure, and cancer, a whole lot of things, but diabetes. So now,
now,
honey.
Can I ask you a real quick question? So in other words,
right here.
so I can be really healthy then, right? Try to eat right. But if I have high stress, that can actually affect me negatively with diabetes eating. Is that what you're saying?
now you hit the nail right on the head. Because you can have a wholesome plant-based diet, exercise, run marathons, get adequate amount of sleep, still be a diabetic because you're stressed out and worried.
Wow. Yeah.
So this is why we're going to spend some time. This is up first because I want to make sure we have enough time for this. So with that in mind, honey, now we're going to let them join in. So first of all, we have a cup here.
Yep.
Measuring cup.
A measuring cup. And so therefore, now let's use both of them. Now we have some soybeans here too.
So we have some beans.
Okay.
Now, first of all, as we're doing the 7
spiritual stress busters.
All right. At the end of the program, they're really enticed, they're watching us and everything. Then we're going to bring out our measuring cup. Now, I don't know who in the audience is going to be a part of this. So I said, can I get someone from the audience just to kind of come up? And we've always prayed and asked God, you know who you want to come up. Let someone come. They raise their hand, they'll come up. I said, okay, I need you to hold the measuring cup, all right? And so we're talking about stresses. Now, I know nothing about the person who's there with me.
Not at all.
So when you talk about stress and things you're actually going through that's really giving you a hard time, so I want you to hold this cup, and then I'm going to start putting some soybeans in there in your cup.
So you want me to come around and hold this?
No, Curtis
you
can
got it.
hold
Oh, Curtis
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, but let's ask them. So you guys.
No, let me.
Oh.
Okay. So
this is really her
to the
thing.
person who's standing there, the person standing there,
Okay.
I'll say, well, let me ask you a question. Do you have any children? And they'll say, well, I do. I say, okay.
Yeah. that can add stress.
Of course. Stress, okay. I said, okay. So tell me something. Okay. Of course, you're married. Yes. And everything is wonderful between you and your husband. Well, not so good. Okay.
Now, and a lot of times her husband's sitting right next to her.
Right.
So that can be a moment of discussion.
What about your job? I mean, do you work? Well, yeah, I work. Okay.
You like your coworkers?
You like your coworkers? Everything's good? No.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, all right. So
What about the finance?
What about illnesses? Is there anything going on with you? I mean, high blood pressure, heart disease. Well, my doctor did say that my blood pressure was up pretty high, and I'm trying to get it down.
All the medical bills and the side effects, all
And the
these
bills.
can add stress and
course.
worry.
So
Of course.
now that person's standing there, and as we're talking through, they're seeing this cup get full, right?
Yep.
And then we say, okay, well, so what about your spiritual life? Do you and God have a connection? Well, it could be a little bit better. Really and truly, when I go through a lot, I don't even talk to God. Okay, so the cup is full.
And what about finance?
Oh my goodness! When we say, is everything good with your bills and
Do you
stuff?
have
You're at
too
no
much
problem.
month left at the end of the money?
Right.
So the cup is full. The person's still standing there.
Now they're holding the cup.
They're holding the cup.
Right.
And I said, well, that statement is that God measures and he weighs everything before it comes your way.
So now this is measured.
Yep.
These are all
But now
just-
God is really precise.
He is.
Precise. So not just measured.
He weighs.
Now God has to put it on a scale because now it's being weighed.
Ooh.
And we look at the scale and say,
Oh, girl,
Uh-oh,
you got
wait a
a
minute.
lot. You
No.
got a lot going. That's,
Okay, no.
God said that's too much.
Oh, that's too much now.
Let's
Okay,
put some of
that's
those
the-
back away as we
few
pray
back
and talk to the Lord.
No,
no,
okay,
no,
a little
no,
bit
okay, let's- we
more.
can get that- we can get that
Because God
down a
is
little more. He's
if
measuring
there's
it.
one sword being more than we're able to bear, God is not fair.
It's not fair.
All right? So let's look at,
so we're-
okay,
okay,
well,
that-
maybe one more.
One more.
and
Okay, and then that's
okay,
good.
okay.
And so then we take the measuring cup and we give it back to the person, and we say, God has measured and weighed your life and everything going
Right
on
here.
with you.
All those
all
things
the
you talked
stresses,
about.
Yes.
everything that's going on.
Everything.
God can hear, he can answer the prayers you have. We have had situations where we've done this presentation and a person just started crying.
Yes.
Right there.
They
Yes,
said
right there on the spot.
all the things that you talked about. That's what I'm going through.
Yeah.
I'm over.
Yeah.
I'm over the top with this, and I don't even know why I came up, and I don't know why you guys are talking directly to me. And of course, that just brings everything in. That God does, he does measure and weigh. Anything that we're going through is not by chance. And if we can always think about the fact that God says, is this enough? I'm going to give it to them because I know they can handle it. But you don't know you can handle it. But if we take the time to go back to the Father and ask the Father to be with us, he can actually empty this cup back out.
Amen.
Yeah, amen.
That's
So
the key.
here's the thing.
Praise
So
God. That's beautiful.
therefore,
That's a great illustration.
whatever happens, whatever
happens.
comes down the pike, we can never say, "Oh Lord, this
much.
is too much. I
Too much."
can't handle it." No, that's a lie.
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 10:13, the Bible says that
There has
He is
no-
faithful not to tempt us more than we are able to bear.
But will with the temptation make a
way
way of escape
That's right.
that
That's
we
a
may be able
promise.
to bear it.
And that's one of the promises, the seven spiritual stress busters.
Yes.
There's a powerful statement in Thoughts for the Mount of Blessings, page 101. Because there are people out there who are stressed out and they're worried. So there's a powerful statement, Thoughts for the Mount of Blessings, page 101. Now listen to these words, this is just so, when we really believe that God loves us and wants the best for us, then we will cease to worry about the future. When we really believe that God loves us, we will cease to worry about the future. So you read Matthew chapter 24, all these things coming up, wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes and pestilence. There's going to be a whole lot of things that we can stress out about until the second coming. So this diabetes is not letting up if we cannot help to manage our stress spiritually. So this right here is paramount. This lays the foundation. That study I just quoted, that's a 10-page study about stress and diabetes.
Yeah,
We can have a
amazing.
plant-based diet and exercise, but we're stressed out, worried, and therefore it's going to impact our diabetes tremendously. So this is one of the first things in defeating diabetes, help to manage our stress and take it to the Lord in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear because we do not take everything to the Lord in prayer.
That's right.
I think
Trusting Jesus.
Yes.
That's all.
Him and the thing is that we're thinking about, We got to keep, if we just sit, we we fuss with God about the trials
Oh, yeah.
and the tests. God, why do I have to go through this? I don't understand, and what's going on. But if we can get up and count the blessings each day of what God has done for us and look back at how he has brought us through tremendous times, the things that we never thought we'd get through. When we think about that, that begins to build up the foundation.
That's right.
That prayer life builds the foundation. So we need the trials because the trials make us strong as we're going through the next testing. Eventually you get to the point where you're like, whatever, go ahead on and bring it. I'm good, because you got the scriptures, you got the music, you got the experiences, all that is going on.
Okay, so that's the first part. We want to get that out the way, all right? No, not get it out the way, but make that first. Paramount.
Foundational.
Okay. Now, the second thing we're going to talk about, which was finish up our presentation for this evening, second part of it, is now we need to talk about nutrition. When you talk about diabetes and nutrition, there's one word that comes up. That word is carbohydrates. And so I remember my teacher, a grade school teacher back in the 4th grade, she told us, because we kept asking our teacher, what does this word mean? Teacher, what does this word mean? So our teacher told us in the 4th grade, she says, class, if you don't know what a word means, take the word apart, try to define its components, and then put the definition together. I've been using that for over 60 years.
That's a great teacher there, yeah.
So, carbohydrates. Let's first understand and define what does the word mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carbo is short for carbon, a basic element used for combustion.
Okay.
Carbon, all right? So we need energy for combustion, work, play, etc. The other part of the word is hydrate. If a person is dehydrated, that means they have a lack of
Water.
Right,
Water.
fire hydrate. Hydrate. The body is 65% water, hydrate. We need energy, carbon. Therefore, the body needs carbohydrate. You follow me? Because a lot of people say, oh, I'm on a low carb diet. Do you really know what you're saying?
Wow.
Carbohydrate. So with that in mind, we're going to talk about the different types of carbohydrates, all right? So I have my wife, because this is her part of the presentation, I'll be interjecting some things as well. So let's look at the very first type of carbohydrate. Which is what, honey?
Well, the very first time we say, just tell me what is a carbohydrate, and tell me what would be, if I say to you, the very first one is simple carbohydrate.
Simple. That's number one.
Then I say, so if I say the word simple carbohydrate, what foods do you think would be in that group? Simple carbohydrate.
I don't.
Something that's not maybe man-made, like so something like
Non-processed?
Yeah, non-processed is what I mean. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
What-
simple carbohydrate, Genesis 1:29, and
Like
when we look
fruits?
at that, it's the fruits and non-starchy vegetables.
Okay.
So
Everybody sees that
yes.
word simple and they think that's going to be something other than that. Is it fruit? Fruit
Is-
and non-starchy.
Is considered a simple
called
carbohydrate.
simple
So that's the
carbohydrates.
umbrella.
That's the first one.
Fruit, the first food group mentioned in the Bible, is fruit.
Sure
It
is.
And
Nuts.
non-starchy vegetables, such as corn and carrots and broccoli and asparagus.
Now that
Non-starch.
that just means that those foods don't create any kind of a thickness when you cook them.
Like
When you
potatoes
steam
would
them.
be
That
considered
would be
a
different.
starch.
Or
That would be
rice.
different.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That'd be
Yeah, that's
different.
starch.
So that's the simple.
So that's simple. Okay. So,
The
honey,
next-
now what's the next type of carbo
Hydrate.
energy? Hydrate, water, because our body's made up of water and we need energy.
65%.
Okay,
This is
yeah.
complexed carbohydrates.
Is that like your potatoes and your rice and
Okay,
your
now-
bread,
Right.
pasta? No.
All right.
Okay,
So we got
okay,
the
okay.
complex. Now,
They
why
chiming in, honey.
They're called complex because any food that you eat that takes a longer time to digest or break down is called complex. If you were to take that grain, a whole wheat grain, and stick it under a microscope and look down inside of it, you would see a lot of just like lines and movements going on, because it takes a while for the body to break down a carbohydrate that is complex.
Okay.
So the complexity means the duration of time it will take for that food to be digested.
Okay.
In that group,
In this
what
group,
foods, complex carbohydrate, what do you think those foods would be?
That's not your bread and your pastas and your potatoes
And they are the
rice?
ones you're
No?
talking about, yes, but the different types. Now, we meet people who say things like, I don't do no carbs, I don't do no bread, I
Yeah.
don't do potatoes,
Right.
I don't do any of that. But complex means we're looking at in their natural state.
Oh, okay, like wheat
whole
There you go,
grain
whole
Okay.
grain.
and
Okay.
legumes.
Yes.
and legumes.
That's and legumes,
That group.
peas. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the complex.
Yes.
So now, so we're dealing with first the good.
Simple.
Now we're gonna get to the bad. Then we're gonna get to the ugly. No, I'm serious. So again, just to recap, I want to make this is critical. A lot of people just don't understand this. So the good is first simple
Your fruits and non-starchy
fruit
vegetables.
and non-starchy vegetables,
Then complex.
and your complex umbrella, legumes and whole grains.
Right.
That's the good.
Okay.
Now the next set is the bad, which is what, honey?
The refined carbohydrates.
Refined carbohydrates.
Now we're getting
Okay.
into
When those foods are now processed.
now we're getting into white bread, white
White
flour,
rice.
Yes.
white pastas or enriched
Yeah,
pastas.
enriched pastas.
These are called the refined group because now we're talking about, we've actually as man, we've gone in and changed it up. I don't want no whole wheat. I want white. So when you switch these things out, now you're talking about taking away the major nutrients that these foods have. There's a difference in a whole wheat bread
Right.
than a white,
White
bread.
bread.
Interesting
Correct.
though, because as far as you said, enriched. That sounds positive.
Enriched.
It sounds
Right,
good.
right.
Also, it's enriched. It's infused with something better.
Thank you.
But
Right.
it's actually not.
No,
Yeah.
it's never
Yeah,
the same.
if I gave you $25 and take away 20, do you feel enriched?
No, I don't. It's not.
Yeah, it's wrong. Yeah. So, and one of the things about doing this process, that one of the things that creates the pancreas to produce insulin is chromium.
Okay.
Is the micronutrient chromium. When you enrich whole wheat, you remove the chromium. Therefore, the pancreas cannot produce insulin as it should.
See?
That's why this is the bad. All right.
Right.
So the refined. All right. We got the good,
Yep.
simple.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Fruit, non-starchy vegetables,
Yep.
and the complex,
That's right.
legumes and whole grains. Now you have the bad, refined
Yeah.
carbohydrates, and now the last group you have the ugly,
Oh.
which is what, honey?
Ultra refined
Ultra
carbohydrates.
refined.
Ultra.
What would that
What
be?
would-
Now,
Yeah.
ultra would
Okay,
be,
go ahead,
y'all ready?
honey.
You ready?
Ready?
Cookies, cake,
I like cookies.
Ice cream.
pies.
Oh, but these are the
Salt.
things we
Now-
really like,
So now
right?
let me. Okay, now,
Chip.
honey. Okay, his glasses came off.
They did. And he leans
Now,
back.
now, let me say this, because now I know a lot of people watching. They got a little. They're upset right now.
Yeah.
We're not
They're like-
saying.
they're
We're
like,
not
"Oh,
saying
no,
you-
no,
We're
no."
not saying you should never eat these foods on occasion, but these foods have a high degree of. They classify ultra refined by the NOVA classification.
Okay.
They have a high degree of sodium,
Yeah.
salt,
Sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
and fried foods
Right.
with additives and preservatives. This constitutes ultra refined. In other words, simple term, what we call junk food.
Yeah.
Now,
And some
It's-
people live on that.
Absolutely.
in this group, the ultra refined impacts diabetes more than the refined.
Absolutely.
This is the worst of the carbohydrates, the ultra refined. It has a tremendous impact on diabetes than any other group. Even worse than eating meat. Ultra refined. Because it turns to glucose, blood sugar quickly and goes into our fat cells. So therefore you have the ultra refined.
And then also when people say to us, I don't do carbs at all, we say, well, if you go back to the Bible, first chapter,
Right.
in the Bible, God speaks about the diet.
He does.
And
So
you're
if you
supposed
think
to eat
about,
it.
129 and then 318, the complex group. Well, when you think about that, you're like, wait a minute, hold up. That means that the real diet is really carbohydrates.
God's original diet is
You're not going to eat those.
carbohydrate. Genesis 1:29 and Genesis 3:18. Okay, now we need to move on. All right. So therefore, now having said that, now we're going to say the same thing. Now we're going to add some objects to this lesson.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So here we go.
Here we go.
So now you have. I'll make sure the camera pick this. I want to keep this foot on the table, so make sure the camera picks that up right.
So you want to move the
there
foot
we
over a
go,
little bit?
right there.
Move
Let
the
me
foot
just
over.
move this foot like
You want
this.
that foot
Okay.
to stay
Yeah.
there.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. You got it.
We have the bloodstream right
Okay,
here.
now, so here we have the bloodstream. Inside the bloodstream is carrying glucose, blood sugar, all right? The way it's supposed to be. So the person just finished eating complex, simple carbohydrates. So now this glucose is in the bloodstream. This glucose that's in the bloodstream doesn't need to stay in the bloodstream, otherwise it can damage what we just talked about from head to toe.
Right.
Yep.
So this glucose needs to go into our cells
Okay.
because the glucose goes into our cells. Every cell needs glucose to survive.
It's energy, right?
It's energy.
Yeah.
The brain main food is glucose.
Yeah.
The brain only weighs 2% of the body, yet it demands 20% of the glucose.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
The muscles need glucose to function, whatever. So therefore, but wait a minute, we got a problem because this door is locked.
Yeah.
So in order for this glucose to go into our cell, we need to have a key.
Yep.
Guess what? In God's infinite wisdom, God also manufactured the key.
Insulin.
Insulin is the key.
Insulin is the key. It's with this bloodstream. So now the insulin goes in, unlocks the door
To the cell.
to the cell, and the door opens up, and now glucose can go inside
Yeah.
the cell.
Whoops.
All right? It needs to stay inside the cell.
Right.
Now it's off the table. So the camera didn't pick that up. The thing about this is so critical.
Yep, it sure is.
Because if not, since the brain main source of fuel is glucose, if there's not enough glucose in the brain, then you can have depression, confusion, unbalance, even signs of Alzheimer's disease.
Wow.
That's why Alzheimer's disease is sometimes known as type 3 diabetes.
Oh, wow.
I hadn't heard that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. That's why the key is very critical for that to take place. So you mentioned before we on air, Greg, about what about type 1? People who are type 1 diabetics, they don't have a key.
They're born that way.
Yeah, well, could
Not
be
necessarily.
or in childhood.
Okay.
That's why used to be called juvenile diabetes. Sometimes milk protein can damage the beta cells.
Okay.
But sometimes when those are type 1, which is less than 10%, they don't have a key.
Right.
So to unlock the door.
Right.
So they have to go to a locksmith to get a key made for them to open up this cell door. All right, and we talk about that as well in the conference, but I know time
Which
is
is like an
just
insulin
about gone.
shot, insulin
yeah,
shots and stuff.
exactly. That's their key. So anyway, but so quickly, so therefore, the main thing is that simple fruit, non-starchy vegetables, complex whole grain and legumes.
Yes.
And then the key goes in, open up the door, and the glucose goes in, and then now the glucose goes down to its normal level. Therefore, we don't have no problems.
So
at
this
all.
process works great then with the simple and the complex carbohydrates
Yes.
and everything, right? It just goes right along.
Right, that's
does
the
everything.
good,
That's the
but
good.
not with the bad and the ugly.
That's right.
Right, so we're gonna move more to God's original plant-based diet. Yeah,
So
go right ahead.
if I have diabetes, say,
Okay.
can it type 2, can it be reversed?
Yes.
Is there hope for people right
yes,
now watching
absolutely.
with diabetes?
Absolutely.
Can that be reversed?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Lifestyle changes?
Yeah. Even with type 1,
Okay.
Wow.
when you're insulin dependent, when the pancreas, when you're not even producing a key with type 1, there's some things now, that's where herbal medicine comes into play and actually goes in and manufacture new keys.
That's incredible.
Botanical medicine.
That's amazing.
Where it can actually manufacture, go to a locksmith and get some new keys made.
Look at God.
Yes,
That's
yes.
it.
All right, anyway, time is just about gone. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go through, now this is a 6-question test.
Oh, we have our quiz.
We have a quiz, yeah. 'Cause I'm looking at my clock here. 6 questions, whether or not a person may be a diabetic or may be pre-diabetic, all right? 6 questions.
So at home, then, get your pen
Yeah,
and paper
get your
out so you
pen
can
out.
do this together. Jill and I don't really want to be on the spot just by ourselves, so you join us, okay?
Okay. So, because now, of course, the American Diabetic Association has the assessment test too, but I think this is going to be a little bit better because with these 6 questions, it's based on lifestyle, all right? So here we go, all right? So let's put question number 1 on the screen, and then I'll read the question and we'll go from there. All right, question number 1. Add 100 points if you feel stressed and or tend to worry a lot on a consistent basis.
Okay.
So either 100 points, if not, then it's a 0. All right, that's question number 1. We just talked about that. It can impact diabetes. All right, let's go to question number 2. Here we go, question number 2. Add 100 points if you regularly consume refined carbohydrates.
And again, that, for example, what would that be for someone at home?
White bread, white rice, enriched pastas. I always thought about even add another 100 points if you add ultra refined. But anyway, just add 100 points, refined carbohydrates, ultra refined, 100 points, all right? Question number 3, let's go, question number 3. All right, here we go. Add 100 points if you do not routinely engage in any type of physical activity. Now again, this is interesting. Physical activity opens the door to this cell without a key.
Does it really?
Oh, wow.
It can last for several hours, even days, without a key.
That is amazing.
Physical activity.
That's great.
So that way, if you on your couch, clicking the remote, add 100 points. There's no, even the American College of Sports Medicine updated their review about even engaged in some type of balance or flexible routine, whatever. Anything that moves the body, all right, don't add 100 points. But if you don't have any type of routine education or routine physical education activity, add 100 points. All right, let's go to the next question. All right, here we go. Next question. Okay. Add 100 points if you normally go to bed after 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Wow.
The longer you stay up late at night, the less the pancreas produces keys.
That's incredible.
All right? I should have said after 12 o'clock, add another 100 points. But the longer you stay up, it's going to
worse
increase risk
it
of
is.
diabetes. All right? All right, let's go to the next question. Here we go. All right? Add 100 points if you typically eat your last meal after 7 p.m. The later we eat, it disturbs our sleep, and the quality of sleep is at a low quality and increases the risk of diabetes. All right? Let's go to the next question. All right, here we go. Okay. Now, this may sting a little bit. At 100 points, women, if your waist is 35 inches or more, men, if your waist is 40 inches or more. Women tend to gain their weight in hips and thighs, men in the stomach, all right? So we call this metabolic syndrome, so the waist right here. So anytime the waist is large, increases the risk of diabetes as well.
It's amazing.
So you do all that. That's the 6 questions. If you add that up, if you get at least about 300 points, you had a moderate risk.
Oh, okay.
400 points, high risk.
Wow.
500 points or more, extremely high risk that you may be either a pre-diabetic or a diabetic. Of course, go to your doctor and find out for sure as far as the blood test. This is for those individuals who may be a pre-diabetic and don't even know it and has never been tested.
Right.
That's what we did that presentation right there, those questions, right?
that.
All right.
Well,
I know we have some
you're
things
gonna answer
we're going to update, but go right ahead. Yes.
Yeah, so I think for me, I put it down as far as the aspect of stress, right? I do think that I'm stressed quite a bit. So I put that down, so 100 points. But after that, I didn't.
Yeah,
nothing
so
else really
you're
applies,
a very,
But I still need to work on the stress aspect, though, right? Because stress, like you said in the very beginning, that's a big part, too.
That can do it by itself and still eat a plant-based diet.
That's right.
And have
Exercise
regular
and
exercise. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I had 100 as well.
Okay.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Mine was stress too.
Yeah. So that's good.
So this is good.
So we'll have to work on that together.
That's right. And at home, you can pick what your avenue is
yeah.
and work on that as well. So absolutely. We want to put up the contact information,
Yeah, contact information.
one more time here for Curtis and Paula Eakins. Maybe you're dealing with
ministry.
diabetes. Maybe you have questions. Maybe you want them to come to your church or community. You can email them at caakins@scc-sda.org, or you can call them 256-683-5198. That's 256-683-5198. We got a full second hour coming up.
We do, and talking about that phone number, Curtis and Paula, they can actually reach you on that number if they are more interested in the retreat center and supporting that center. Because what you're just teaching us right here today is just what you'd be teaching, stuff like that at the retreat center. So praise the Lord for that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have some upcoming events. We didn't have time for that. We'll probably talk about that in the kitchen. Upcoming events within the next couple of months.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Got some great things in the kitchen, too. Go ahead, Paula. What are we going to be doing in the second hour?
Mexican cuisine. We're going to do some foods that all this talk we did about carbohydrates, we're going to actually take and put them to the test for the complex and the simple group. Mexican cuisine. We're going to be doing some mock steak.
Oh, my.
Tacos.
All
We're
right.
going to do some Mexican rice. We're going to do some guacamole, some black bean salsa. All that.
Amen.
Simple and complex. That's what we're looking
We
at.
love you both. Thank you for being here. Looking forward to the second hour.
Amen.
We will see you next time.
Well, welcome back from the diabetes conversation. I had a wonderful conversation. You know, now we had to change. We don't want to mess up those shirts.
No.
Yeah, so I let my wife change first, then I changed after you. So that, therefore, well, this is a light brown, yours a dark brown.
It's okay.
It's close enough, right?
It's close enough.
All right.
Talked about that diabetes.
Well, yes, we did.
But there's a couple things that we did not do on the program, and that was talk about a couple things that's actually going on with us.
Oh, upcoming events?
Yeah.
Now, we kind of ran out of time. We want to get everything in that first hour. So on this end, we're going to talk about our upcoming events. So you want to get out your pad, pencil, or your cell phone, because there's some dates. About 3 things that's coming up within the next few months here, 2024. And so let's go to the screen and look at where we're going to be in the coming months as well. So let's go to the screen at this time. The Women and Men's Wellness Day, all right? This is Saturday, September 14th at the Oaklands Park Seventh-day Adventist Church. That's there in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And so contact information is 707-803-2421. Again, 707-803-2421. That's the Men's and Women's Wellness Day. And my wife, she has a program. Just briefly talk about yours, and then I'll talk about mine just briefly, honey.
Actually, it's about women's health.
Yeah, women's health.
All the things that go on with women, because a lot of times you don't hear that. So I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to do this. We always have a packed house. We talk about women and their hair health, okay?
So we divide the group, you know, the men and the women. The women have one area, I have the men in that other area. And my presentation is entitled Bedroom, Belly, and Beyond. All right, so therefore, those 2 presentations will be going on simultaneously there at the Oaklands Park Seventh-day Adventist Church, all right?
What's our next one?
Okay, the next one coming up, all right? Let's go to the screen and let's see the next one coming up. Controlling Cancer Conference. That's right, Controlling Cancer Conference, Saturday, October 12th at the Glendale Seventh-day Adventist Church in Indianapolis, Indiana. All right, and the contact number for that is 281-217-4634. Again, 281-217-4634. That's at the Glendale Seventh-day Adventist Church, October the 12th, that's a Saturday. And there's also a bonus that Sunday, October the 13th, is also the same presentation, male and female presentations as well. And we'll divide those groups out on that Sunday as well. So dealing with cancer.
And that was good because we're going to be talking about cancer.
Yes.
In the month of October is Cancer Month. Breast cancer,
prostate,
and
lung, and colorectal. So yeah.
As we're moving through that month of October, in our area, in our church, we do In the Pink Sabbath.
That's right, in the
Pink
pink
Sabbath. Everybody's got pink on. Even a pastor has on a pink bow and stuff as well. It's a big day. And also, I do my story.
That's right.
And as of this taping, I will be a 18-year breast cancer survivor.
And conqueror.
And a conqueror.
We changed the name. I think you're gonna make it, honey. I think you're gonna pull through. I think she's gonna pull through 18 years. Yeah.
And they've done this program on 3ABN as well.
That's right.
And then for those who are really, I guess, did not know, and that is not only am I 18-year survivor, no chemo, no radiation, no hormone treatment. It's God all the way. God's diet, God's lifestyle. I'm still here, still here.
Yeah, we chose lifestyle medicine. I'll tell people all the time, my wife, we did do chemotherapy, non-poisonous chemotherapy.
And then we got one.
That's going to raise some eyebrows just by making that statement.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And so now the last one coming up, and this is kind of like a special research that's going on currently in the Huntsville area. This is the Black Longevity Study, contributing longevity in blacks in Huntsville, Alabama. So this is a study done by the researchers at Oakwood University. It's going on as we speak. So if African Americans, if you live in the Huntsville, Alabama area, or a 25-mile radius, that includes basically North Alabama, and you have to be 85 years or older, non-Hispanic. You do not even have to be a Seventh-day Adventist, and they will go to your home or location of your choice, agreed location, and they'll come to you or come to your home. And this is a study done on the longevity of people in that area. And there's the contact information and also the number as well, so I'll read that contact information. The email is blackstudyproject@gmail.com. Again, blackstudyproject@gmail.com. And the telephone number is 256-326-5243. Again, 256-326-5243. They will come to your home or a location decided. And also there's a compensation as well going through this study.
A little bit of a stipend.
There is a longevity, disproportionate longevity in the Huntsville, Alabama area. So now the study is being done by the researchers at Oakwood University.
And it's going to be good too, although we're not anywhere near that age, but the thing that's so good is that they actually do studies because, believe it or not, in the Huntsville, Alabama area, even in our own one church, which is First Church, there are many individuals in this church who are not only 85, they are 90, 95. We even have 100-year-old individuals in the church as well. So the study is coming down to see what is going on and what's going on with our health and our longevity, about how we get to live so much longer. I love it. I love it. It's first time ever.
You need to contact right away because the study ends up, maybe the end of this month. So you need to call as soon as possible. And there'll be some compensation on that as well. So look forward to getting that information, and you can contact Duff if you missed that number as well. All right?
That's what we want to really get out the way so that we can get those dates out there.
Yes.
People are always asking questions, where are you guys at? When are you coming to my area? And they can also call their relatives and let them know we're coming to the area they're going to be in as well. So it's a good way to do that as well.
So that's our 2024 scheduled for this year. And now 2025 is already booked already. So, but anyway, that's 2024. So looking forward to being in your area in the Indianapolis, Indiana, and also Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, you know, we talked about that diabetes, defeating diabetes.
Yes.
And the thing that I think that was so important, and that is that I love the way that God works with us. And I mean, if we do what we are supposed to do, how things can correct themselves, and sometimes not even correct, but can stop it from going any further. And so with that diabetes, defeating diabetes, that's why it's called defeating diabetes, not only to keep from having diabetes, but also once you have diabetes, being able to get a control method on it.
Yeah, because the thing about it, if you see the commercials, I may have mentioned this, I can't remember. If you see the commercials on television, it usually talks about the medication for diabetes.
Yes.
And the medication is geared to get your A1C below 7%. Now think about that. Medications on television, the commercial, get your A1C below 7%. Well, now, for a lot of people, you're still a diabetic.
That's right.
Because diabetic is 6.5 and higher. So we want those individuals to get it not just below 7%, but in the normal range, which is 5.6% or lower. Therefore, you're no longer diabetic or pre-diabetic. That's normal range. No medication at all. And again, ask your healthcare professional before you incorporate any integrative or lifestyle medicine as far as that's concerned.
I like the fact of this program because we did all that talking about simple carbs and the complex carbs. We talked about the refined carbs, and then we ended up with the
ultra refined, the worst.
So
yes.
this program is actually designed to show you the opposite of what people are actually doing and alternatives, but you know, on 3ABN, when we bring the food in and we fix it, it is like, go.
Knock down, drag out good. That's your term.
Yeah.
Knock down, drag out good.
And once again, I'm really glad to be able to do this program too, Curtis, because we're able to bring in our veggies from our garden.
Oh, yes. You want to show that picture now?
Show it now.
Yeah, let's go and show this picture. That's the garden there. That's all good. Now, that's one of our 4x8 gardens. We have 2 of those. And you see there, those are the simple carbohydrates, all right?
And complex are there
complex,
too as well.
right? Okay,
yes.
We got a lot of tomatoes and cucumbers and banana peppers.
I know you're getting hungry.
Yeah. And that garden is literally weed-free.
Yeah.
4x8 raised bed garden. It's part of a study, by the way, in the state of Alabama.
So we are going to go to our very first recipe. This is actually called Mexican cuisine.
Oh, okay.
I love Mexican food. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing. The first one is going to be a steak fajita.
Oh, all right.
All right, let's look at the ingredients. It calls for 3 tablespoons of canola oil, 1 8-ounce package of seitan slices, 1 medium onion sliced, 1 medium green pepper sliced, 1 medium red pepper sliced, 2 garlic cloves chopped, and 4 to 6 stand and stuff taco shells. And we're going to add to that 1 cup of your favorite salsa, 4 tablespoons of soy sour cream, and 1 tablespoon of chives.
Okay. Now that's what that stand and stuff.
Stand and stuff.
Is that? I never heard that.
Well, you know, the taco shells used to come out and they were pointed. And so when you try to put your stuff inside the shell, it would just break on you.
Oh.
This is actually called a stand and stuff shell because believe it or not,
it stands up?
It stands up on its own and you can put your food in it. Look at that, it stands.
Can you get a close up?
And you can put your food inside of that.
There you go, yeah.
You can put your stuff inside of it. And then it doesn't break all up on you.
Yes,
okay. So that's another new product on the market as well, stand and stuff. So we're going to show them that.
So that's what it's called on the container, stand and stuff.
That's the name of the shell.
That's okay.
Now you know you can also take this whole thing too, and you can take a whole wheat tortilla shell. You can also use that as well. But I want something a little bit different. You know, we come on the show, we always trying to bring in something a little bit different, give you a lot of variety because people always say, I eat the vegan stuff and I just get tired of it. Well, we always trying to bring something new on the show so that you can see what's going on. And this is
Keep watching 3ABN. You should never get tired eating plant-based, not just our cooking program, but other cooking programs as well.
I like this one here because also it's a quick and easy one. And I know that before in the past when I was doing my seitan, which was actually done with the gluten base, that you actually had to make it all from scratch. Now they actually have it at the store, already ready to go. And because it's kind of like a mock steak, That draws your attention, doesn't it?
Oh,
For my
okay.
steak eating friends. So it's a mock steak that we're going to be making up. So
Okay.
you see all the ingredients. I let the skillet get ready, get hot
Now,
itself.
now, honey, now the mock steak. Now, there's a lot on the market as far as meat alternatives.
Right.
A lot of now this is more. We suggest the frozen as
No,
opposed to the.
no. This is on a regular shelf.
Oh, this is a regular shelf.
In a cold area where you have your tofu and your
Okay.
lettuce and stuff. It's actually there already.
So it's not
packaged
in the
up.
can.
No,
Okay.
it's not in the
Because
can
in
at
the can you
all.
normally have a higher sodium
That's
in the
right.
can
So-
than just.
And we're trying to keep that down.
Right, okay, good.
So what I did was when I actually got it, we just kind of slice it up a little bit or
Yes.
cut it up. It comes in chunks, but you can slice a little bit more.
Now,
it's supposed to give the assimilation of the steak.
Is it already
pieces.
seasoned?
Already ready to go.
Already
It's ready
to
to
go.
go.
Okay.
We're going to be adding other things to it,
Okay.
so I'm going to get you to go ahead on and get that pepper ready for me.
Okay.
I already started halfway on that one as well. And once we get our pan nice and hot, I'm going to go ahead on and put the canola oil in. All right. And remember I said before, I do the canola oil because it's a plain oil. And by it being plain, it actually will take on the flavor of whatever that food is. Because sometimes changing up to a coconut oil, or you might change up to an olive oil, it will change the texture of the actual product itself and bring on that flavor a lot stronger. We want this flavor to be exactly like it needs to be. So Curtis is getting that ready. I'm going to just take my spatula and we're going to move it around. And by the way, it is already pre-cooked, so you don't have to do a whole lot of cooking, which I really like also. We're going to go ahead and put the mock steak pieces in.
Okay, I'm gonna add this to this.
Yes,
here.
you can add that to that, okay? And not a whole lot of cooking here. I'm going to turn this up a little bit more. Let me just do this so I can turn it up. And just a little bit of, you want to try to just get it brown, but not really brown, okay? Because it's already brown in color. But just we're sauteing that for a hot second. I'm going to put that back there.
Okay.
Okay. And so the peppers and the onions came from the garden.
The garden.
And I've even grown garlic. Now that's my
Yeah,
surprise.
now that's true too.
Garlic. 1 clove of garlic, 1 clove, can go into the soil with the point of the garlic up in the air. It goes down into the soil, and in 10 months, it is a complete garlic bulb. Come on now, only God can do that.
We got a video of you when it comes out of the ground. It's
I
like,
can't
oh
believe
my
it.
goodness.
You cannot believe it.
Yes.
1 clove
Yes.
makes an entire bulb.
There you go.
Between 6 and 8 garlic cloves.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And so I like that. I like that.
I
So-
remember something the Lord, Ellen White says, if those who have a property and also a garden live like kings and queens.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, so self-sustaining and growing your own produce. And once you grow a garden, folks, I mean, tomatoes, cucumbers, you do not want to buy a tomato at a store again.
No.
I mean, once you taste it.
Totally different.
Yeah, it's totally different. Yes.
Totally different. And you know, talking about the feeding diabetes, that's another thing. Not only is the food good, but also it gives you a chance to go out and sit in nature.
Yes.
Put your hands in the soil. And all that is a part of that calming you down. We talked about stress also.
Yeah, oh yes.
Talked about stress.
Yeah, fresh
as
air.
well.
Air neutralizes stress,
Yes,
exercise, and
yes.
the devotional time, you know, and we said about the brain, and the brain's main food is glucose, the brain.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
so
yes, yes.
with me personally, I do not study Sabbath school lessons in the Bible or research on health until I eat my breakfast first. Then I get that glucose, then I study afterwards because the brain's food is glucose. So,
And then
yeah.
who do you ask to bring you in when you study the Word of God?
The Holy Spirit.
All right now, because
It
once
guides
the Holy
us
Spirit
into all truth.
guide, direct, and lead and everything. That bowl that you had a few minutes ago?
Yes.
If you
You
bring
want
that
to
one back,
brag?
'cause I'm going to go ahead and put
Okay.
this in there. You can see how it's got a little brown going on. We don't want it to burn. We want it to actually just get a little brown. It's supposed to give assimilation of steak, of course, you know. So I'm going to put it back into the bowl because then we got the next part of this one to do as well. All right? All righty.
And what's the name of this?
Seitan.
Seitan.
you can
Okay.
get
Now
already
this
there.
is going to be in the
Where
produce
they have
section.
tofu, where they have the
Whatever
tofu,
the tofu,
cold
the
items, you're going
cold
to see it
items,
there.
okay.
That's where it's going to be at. I
And
used
it's
to make
already
it all from
seasoned.
scratch.
You don't have to really just
You have
heat
to-
it.
No, it's already ready to go.
Oh, ready to
We'll
go.
put our oil in here again because now we're going to begin. Why don't you go ahead on and put in the peppers and onions.
A
everything.
spatula. Yeah.
No, just go ahead and pour them in. I'll
Oh,
start around.
okay.
All right, so we got the. Okay, you want to start? Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And then the other.
Go ahead, red peppers.
Red pepper.
Yeah.
This is all from our garden.
Here,
All right.
And the onions.
Okay.
Turn that down a little bit.
So, folks, we have simple and complex carbohydrates. We have the good. There's no bad and there's no ugly. Just the good.
That's it.
That's it.
But you know, the thing is that with vegetarian cooking, if it doesn't look good,
Yes.
it doesn't smell good, if it's not economical,
It has a good mouthfeel.
Nobody's
Yeah.
going to bother with it. Nobody's
Yes.
going to bother with it. I
Yes.
think that my first experience with vegetarian cooking, I went to a cooking class, and they made we're going to make a green split pea burger. And I was like, okay, I'm out of here. Because burgers are not supposed to be green.
They're not supposed to be green.
Supposed to be brown.
Because we eat with our eyes.
Oh, that's right. So
they messed up already with the green split pea burger.
So,
Okay.
So I was really upset. I knew I needed to make some changes. And so along
That's
with
when
that,
you really started cooking.
I
then, huh?
began praying, and our daughter said, "Mommy, if you don't really like what's going on with the food, why don't you do your own?"
Coming out of the mouth of babes.
Out of the mouth of babes,
Out of the
she
mouth of
talked about
babes.
it, and when she said that, I said, "Okay, yeah, let's do something about it." We always say, instead of talking about it, then do something about it. I think that the Lord put that in her head, her mind, because that's when I got involved in vegetarian cooking, and not always a vegetarian. I didn't really get to be a vegetarian until after I got involved in the church. Then I began reading about how people would have major killer diseases if indeed they would eat the wrong foods instead of the right foods. And so I had to go study what is then the right foods.
You took a class on councils on diets and
Council on
foods
Diets
by
and Foods.
Aquila Wright in Georgia. Was that
Yes,
correct?
yes, that's my first
and
one.
it's a whole class on council. It's a book called Councils on Diets and Foods, all right, by Ellen White. And you went through that whole class, and I think that was
Just studied a lot.
that was the catalyst
That
to
was
get
the
you on that road, wasn't it?
Yes, and I also learned that, believe it or not, you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yes.
Believe it or not, it's just changing of things, changing things out, all right? So we're actually going to be using the seitan as a meat item.
Okay.
And you already know you got your bell peppers and onions going on. So I'm going to put that back in, okay? And what's going to happen is I'm going to put the lid on this. It only takes a few minutes. Remember now, everything is already pre-cooked. I'm going to put the lid on top of it and let it just simmer for a hot second. And then at the end of the program, you're going to see how we're going to stuff it in the shell. And we're going to talk about the other things that go with that as well. So let's look at the very next ingredient.
Okay, let's do it, honey.
Mexican brown rice. It calls for 1 tablespoon of canola oil, 1 garlic clove minced, 1 medium green pepper diced, 1 medium onion diced, 3 cups of brown rice steamed, 1 cup of diced tomatoes, 1 cup of tomato sauce, 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper is optional, and 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Okay, we're going to get this one ready to go.
All
I'm going
right.
to turn the stove on. You're going to go ahead and get those peppers
Okay,
ready
you
for
want me to
honey?
go ahead and
All right,
get this cut?
this turned down. And this recipe is another good one. It's a quick one. Already pre-did the brown rice, steamed the brown rice, talking about defeating diabetes. Instead of white rice, we're doing brown rice, all right?
There you go.
We're going to get that in there
Complex
first of all.
carbohydrates.
And we're going to go ahead and put our oil in, all right, to get it started. Because you know, as you've seen on our shows, I love bell peppers and onions and garlic. All of these are the seasonings that make things taste good. You know, really and truly, a lot of times people say to me, well, the food tastes kind of bland. No, that's because you got to season that food. You got to put the seasoning in order to get the flavors you want. And unlike the meat dishes that we have, you're going to notice that when you're doing any kind of plant-based food, it actually gets better as it moves along because then all the seasonings get in. So we're going to go ahead and put in the onions. Yeah,
Now, about the brown rice now, sometimes people say, well, it takes too long to cook brown rice. Can you talk about that? Because we hear that quite a bit. I mean,
Okay.
you can get a rice cooker, which I purchased you.
There you go.
One for
Rice
you.
cooker.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, I thought that's where I stopped. You can kind of take it over from there, honey.
Okay, okay.
The rice
So
cooker is just, you know.
Brown rice is going to take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Of course, it takes about 45 minutes versus regular white rice takes about 10 minutes.
Okay.
But you know, for my friends that say that I ain't got time for all that, they also have the brown rice already pre-packaged with the
Parboiled?
parboiled. You put
Yes.
it in
Okay.
the packs in water, hot
Yes,
water.
okay.
And automatically you'll get what you need as far as your brown rice is concerned. But the brown rice, because it has a hull on it, it is the actual kernel with the hull on it. And so as it's cooking, it's going to be more better for us, got more fiber going on. It's not like white rice. Now, I do have people say, well, I still don't like the the brown rice. And I say also you can do another thing, and that is you can take your skillet with no oil in it. You can put your brown rice in the skillet, in a simmer, and you're going to just let it, you hear it popping like, popcorn does. And then you're going to take that and put that in 2.5 cups of hot boiling water. And voila, you also get brown rice already steamed and also not as hard. Sometimes you say, well, it's a little bit hard, it needs to be a little bit softer.
Or simply purchase a rice cooker,
You can
which I
purchase
did
a
for
rice
you.
cooker as well, yes. You
When
can.
our anniversary, you came and saw that rice cooker. So there you go. So brown rice going in, the complex carbohydrates.
Yes.
The more fiber in the diet, the better off would be for diabetes.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
Bottom line is to get that fiber
in, yes.
And also the complex carbohydrates.
Yes.
That's what this one is doing. It's going to bring in the complex carbohydrates. We're trying to defeat that diabetes. We need to find other ways to fix foods and not say, well, I can't have that. They'll say, well, I can't do Mexican rice anymore because I use white rice. No, yes, you can.
Yeah, there you go.
You can do it with the brown rice as well, all right?
Because now you've seen Defeating Diabetes program.
Yes, you have.
And the reason why, all right?
Okay.
So
now, I'm going to go ahead. I want you to go ahead and put the garlic in for me, babe. Right
the
here.
garlic, okay.
You know we got to make sure, put that there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, if the color is right now, it's okay, but we got to change this because remember we said this is a Mexican cuisine program. Let's go ahead and put in the diced tomatoes.
Okay, diced tomatoes.
All right. Now we're going to see the coloring of the foods change its personality, change its color. I'm going to turn this down a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay. And of course, it's starting to change now.
Change this
We're
color.
going to go ahead on and put in the tomato sauce.
Tomato sauce going in.
All right. There you go. This is also a real nice dish to do for the holidays. You know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the red, the green, the yellow, orange, all those kind of colors that people are used to seeing. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Changing its personality. This is so good, and it goes along very good with the steak fajitas that we actually have already made. Now we're going to start putting the seasoning in.
Okay, so now what we have here.
Go ahead and use another spoon.
All right.
And now we've got onion powder.
Onion powder.
We have the sea salt.
Sea
And we
salt.
also have, the ole.
Cayenne pepper.
Yeah, we do. We got
For a
some
little kick.
cayenne pepper.
To make you say Olay. So
Just a small amount of it.
you need
You don't
this,
have to use it. It is optional.
Which
We
one
love
is
it in
first?
the
It doesn't really
Mexican
matter?
It does not matter. Go ahead and do that.
All right.
All right. The cayenne's going in. Just a small amount of it.
And this is the...
This is the onion powder. Going in.
And a little sea salt.
And then a little bit of the sea salt going in.
want all that, honey?
righty. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So I make the rice up sometime ahead of time, or you might have a dish you're making up that has rice in it, and you have rice left over. Guess what? I put it in a plastic container, put it in the refrigerator. A lot of time people say, well, you cook all the time. I cook a lot on Sundays. I get everything ready on a Sunday so that when I'm going through the week, I don't just say, okay, Monday we're having rice, and Tuesday we're going to have something else, and rice is coming back. I do all my rice for the week. I do all my stuff on a Sunday, so things are ready to go. It's quicker, it's easier. Is this not beautiful or what? Look at that.
You're
This
beautiful, and
is
I'm looking at you
delicious.
too.
Thank you,
The
honey.
dish and you.
You're supposed to be paying attention to the dish itself, but
I'm
that's okay.
preparing my
That-
attention to the person who's preparing the dish.
Okay, Ducky. All right.
I'm throwing you off a little bit.
Yes, you are. So let's go to the very next recipe that goes
Oh,
along
you
with
changed
it.
recipe just because of
You
that.
already look at the next recipe. We're making guacamole. Guacamole, it calls for 2 ripe avocados, 1 tablespoon of lime juice, 1/2 green pepper, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 2 scallions chopped, 1 small tomato chopped, 1 teaspoon of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of fresh cilantro chopped, and sea salt to taste. Now, I see that you bought
Okay,
your
I got
friend
this.
you love to use.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like this. Yes. Okay. This you need a close up on this because this is high tech.
High tech.
All right, high tech.
High
So
tech,
this is a
right.
lemon juice squeezer. Is it a lime juice squeezer?
Yeah, lemons, limes.
Yeah. Whatever. Okay. So you're gonna need what the juice of a lime.
Just go ahead and do that for
So
me.
you put this in there. Oh, you got a close up with this because this is really half of that right there. Okay, and then this goes on top. Okay, they really got a close up. Okay, this is. Okay, the pressure is on.
Pressure is on.
Is on,
Yes, it
and
is.
we have juice. Now, where you want me to put this juice? Because I'm through.
Okay. Did you really squeeze it really well, honey?
Okay, let me
That's enough.
few more.
That's enough.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I've
Now-
already got the avocado. I've already taken, mashed it up, and got it ready. Now, you'll notice sometime when you do an avocado, if it sits too long, it'll start turning that brown color. Okay, that's because of the oxygen.
Okay.
What you can do is because it is using a lemon and lime, you can take lemon juice itself, the lemon you're going to be using in the product, and you can just kind of sprinkle it along with you mashed up your avocado while you're waiting to get the rest of your ingredients together, and it will keep the avocado in that green color instead of having it turn brown. Just another for your information kind of thing. But of course,
Okay.
we're going to go ahead and put the lime on in here. I've already mashed
oh,
it
in
up.
there? Okay. See how much lime did I get?
Well, not a whole lot, because let's go ahead. I'll let you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There
That's
you
enough.
go.
Okay. So we're going to just stir that up.
That
These
was
are
quick and easy.
avocados, yeah. It's a good time avocado. Who does not have fajitas or tortillas or anything that does not have
Now,
guacamole?
this is a simple but also fruit and non-starchy vegetable. So
Yes.
avocado falls into that category.
avocado falls
There you
there?
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead on and we're going to put in our peppers.
Okay.
Our green peppers. Once again, we grow the peppers in our garden. We're going to, so we're going to just stir that up. And we're also going to put in there, let's go ahead and put our tomatoes, which also
Tomatoes.
came from the garden. We're going to put the tomatoes in, chopped tomatoes.
Which technically is a fruit.
Once again.
A seed within itself, Genesis 1:29.
Go on and quote that
Although,
scripture.
although people think of it as a vegetable, tomato and a cucumber, they're fruits.
And an
technically.
avocado.
All right, because they have a seed.
Got the seed in
Yeah.
the center. Got the seed going on, okay? Now, with this together, we're going to go ahead and start adding in the seasoning. We got the cilantro. Go ahead and put the cilantro in.
Okay.
All right? And if you can't find the cilantro when you're going to the store or whatever, just go ahead and get dry cilantro as well, because it just helps to make this recipe come out really good. Then we're also going to be adding in that's the lemon juice.
Lemon juice.
You already did the lime.
Okay.
We're going to add the salt in.
Okay.
And we're going to add in the olive oil.
Olive oil going in.
All right. This is also, once again, we eat with our eyes. This is a very pretty dish.
Yeah, a little bit more to that.
Thank you, honey. A real pretty dish. Now, from this, there's two things that can happen. Number one is you can actually, because you can make a chunky guacamole just like this and serve it up with chips, or you can put it on your toast or whatever. But we're going to actually make it a little bit more softer, but still we want to see those colors in there as well. So we're going to open that up, my love. Take
Oh, the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay. The top?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I'm going to use my spatula.
Now you got, what's that, chives?
Yeah, that's going to be, that's not going to go right this minute.
Not yet?
Not
Okay.
yet, okay? I'm going to go ahead on, and I'm going to put in.
Now, can we turn this on high? What's the highest level?
No, it cannot go on high. I don't want it to
You don't
turn
want the
into
highest
mush.
level?
No, honey. No, we cannot do that.
Okay.
Okay? You can see that he loves to do that.
I learned that from Two of the Two Man.
I know. You've been
Tim the
watching-
Two Man.
You've been watching too many of those shows.
Okay.
You be on a roll. Okay?
I wanted pure reese and bricks. What's the highest level possible? I need smoke come out of this machine, baby.
Okay. That's the reason why I turn around and I do it.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
I just don't be trusting you.
You don't be trusting me.
Trusting you.
You should also trust your husband.
Yeah, it depends on what instrument he's using.
Okay. Yeah.
So with this in
I think
mind.
we're going to have a long ride home after this program.
Okay, so we're going to put that on.
Okay, so this is 3ABNs, not ours. I'm not used to it. Okay, you do it. Yeah, I'm not used to that one.
In the little hole here. Now, The word is
The word is
pulse.
pulse. So you just pulse.
Okay. Hold up.
Hold up. Okay.
Okay.
It's coming. All right. We're going to do some more pulsing. What's so funny, honey?
You are funny. Okay, go ahead. Pulse a little bit more. All right. Okay.
I do that last one.
Okay. So you still have your tomatoes. You can see them in
Oh,
there.
okay. You still want
Some of the bell
to see the-
peppers and stuff is
okay.
actually going down as well. I'm going to take it out. Let's take it off of here.
Okay. Next time we bring our own. Yeah, this we're not used to this one. Okay, honey, it's not quite that
It's got
funny.
a different
but
kind of a personality
yeah,
going on. Yeah.
Yeah. It was-
Yeah. But I just want you to see what that looks like. Look at that. A nice texture. Like I said before, your tortilla chips or whatever you want to put on there, we're going to actually be using that also when we do that fajita as well. So we're going to go ahead and put that up because we're going to go to our very next recipe that we're going to be doing, and that is black bean salsa. 1 15-ounce can of black beans drained. 1 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. 1/2 cup of scallions minced. 4 tablespoons of lime juice fresh. 1/2 cup of fresh coriander minced. Okay. This is another good one, Curtis. Let's talk for a hot second, though, because I said can. And, you know, when we talk about can, we're talking about that defeating diabetes. So we want to try to stay away from as much as possible canned items. We know fresh is always best. Frozen.
Frozen. And frozen may be a little bit better than
Absolutely.
fresh.
And
yes.
why the frozen better?
Well, as soon as the food is picked from the source, they flash freeze or flash froze the food itself, so it locks in the freshness.
Yes, it does.
And so therefore, with that in mind, it keeps in all the nutrients. Now, if it's fresh, unless it's a farmer's market, by the time you eat it or from the grocery store, it may be past the 7 days or 10 days and lose its nutritional value. So sometimes frozen may be better than fresh.
Yes.
It's flash frozen, locks in the nutrients. So I'll just keep that in mind as well. Unless it's at a local farmer's market, then of course fresh may be a little bit better.
And then you want to make sure you're actually going to your stores that really turn things over fast. You want to go to places to get real good food. Now, the canned beans, you can actually cook the beans, the black beans from scratch. I remember back in the day when I would actually put them in a slow cooker and cook the beans in a slow cooker. But you know, people say to me now, when they watch our program, I don't have time for all that cooking, Paula, and all
Nobody
that
has time
stuff,
for all that.
You know? So guess what? They're actually black beans in a can with no salt.
Oh, okay. That's
Black
the key.
beans in a can. You'll see the word
No salt,
organic,
yes.
no salt added.
Okay.
You have more opportunity to mix in your seasonings when you do it that way. And I like that a lot better than them actually having on that label the sodium content is too high. If indeed you can't find it, no sodium canned black beans, then you want to make sure when you bring your black beans home that you actually rinse them off. Rinse them off with your cold water. That'll take a lot of the sodium away completely, and you're right back where we started from, sodium-free, all right?
Okay,
Because we
good.
not only want our diabetics to think about the fat and the sugar, but also we want them to think about the sodium levels as well, all right?
Okay,
And so we have that. And then the tomatoes with chilies, you can make that from scratch, or they already have that once again in the
Already
store.
come in with the chilies?
And tomatoes with the chilies already there.
Already, okay.
So that's another option that's open to you as available as well. And of course, the bottom line is that because we're talking about defeating diabetes, think about it. Already on the show, we did a Mexican rice. We did a mock steak fajita, and then we turned around and now we're actually doing, well, we did the guacamole, all right?
Okay.
So you know already you're saying to myself, you know, this is not a bad idea. I really think I could do this, okay? Because we try to do foods that are called superfoods, foods you're used to. And a superfood is that a food that you grew up under. You know, your mom and dad, or your mama cooking in the kitchen. There were certain foods. The holidays came up, your birthday came up, or whatever, and you would always say, "Hey, Mom, would you fix thus and so for me?" Well, when we look at these foods, superfoods, they are foods that you bring in from when you're younger to your adulthood, and you still like them. All right. And what we're doing, because we're talking about defeating diabetes, is we're not throwing out foods you're used to. You've had guacamole, You've had Mexican rice, and you've even had steak fajitas, all right? But we just did them differently this time. We did them differently this time, okay?
And
More
the
healthier
tortilla
for you.
shells too, sometimes
Same thing.
is enriched tortilla
Yes.
shells. Now you have whole wheat, all right? You want to get that dietary fiber,
Yes.
the dietary fiber, all right, on your breads, all right? Look at the dietary fiber. Even on your pastas, all right? The dietary fiber, you want to be over about 20% of dietary fiber on your pastas. So make sure it's whole wheat, but again, the fiber adds to controlling diabetes and that glucose blood sugar levels.
So, you know, we already mentioned about the fact about those instant pastas, you know, white spaghetti noodles and all that.
Enriched,
Guess what?
yeah, all of that.
They now have also thin whole wheat pasta noodles.
Good, yeah.
They have the elbow noodle. They have the spaghetti noodle. All that is
Whole wheat.
It is a real thing going on
Yes.
right now as far as plant-based is
Yes.
concerned. Do you know that plant-based is something that everybody's actually getting into? Trying to eat more healthier. It's in the stores. We used to have to go to the health food store for everything. No
Yes.
more.
Now
We
the
can go to
regular grocery stores, yes.
store, all right?
Make it easy for you.
And so-
See, it's really easy to defeat diabetes.
It
really
is,
is.
it is.
And even type 1
Yes.
diabetes. Because sometimes people say, well, that's irreversible. But type 1 can also be reversible while we can establish and rebirth those beta cells in the pancreas. Type 1 diabetes.
Type 1, type 2, the name of the game. And that type 2, by the way, type 2 basically is usually more of an onset adult because it just comes from not good eating habits throughout your life that eventually you wind up with something like type 2 diabetes. All right? So let's get to this recipe
Okay.
because this is an easy one also. I'm going to just put in this one recipe, Curtis, I'm going to put into our blender.
Okay,
food
you want to open
processor.
this up?
Yes. I'm going to just put half of the black beans in.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it in half.
You're going to save the other half for something else? or-
The other ones are going in too, but you know, when you're doing these foods, you want all the color, texture, all that's a part of it, all right? So with
Okay.
that in mind, even though it's getting crazy here, it's getting crazy, go down. Okay, even with all that going on, the name of the game is you want it also, let me hold this 1 minute and get this off. You wanna save some of it because we want texture and color, all right? Now we're gonna go ahead and, let me add this, let's take this spoon, babe. And we're gonna
Okay.
do half of the
Half of
time
this?
as well, yes.
Okay.
Half of that as well. That's enough.
Okay.
Okay, and now, once again, let's wipe the edge of this.
Okay.
off.
And got some on the
right.
table too.
Okay? All right.
And
What
anything
you're
else
gonna do-
going in
no,
here?
in this one here, all we're gonna do is just do the chilies, and we're gonna do the beans. Go ahead and put that on
Oh,
top.
that's it?
And we're gonna pulse that. We're gonna pulse it. Okay, see, okay,
Pulse.
yes. Hold on 1 minute. I was going to tell you one of the things is a secret to this one here, this food processor,
What?
is that this piece here goes over this silver piece in
Yeah,
the center.
okay.
That makes it work better. Let's go ahead and do that again.
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay. There's not used to this one. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Now we're going to take this out. I'm the same way as you are here on this one, and we're going to go ahead on and pour this into the bowl. So this is a pureed. You don't want to make it real soft, but remember now, once again, the black bean salsa, oh yeah, with some corn chips, yeah,
Honey Hush.
Oh, okay. And when you were talking about the chips, you're talking about tortilla chips.
Tortilla
A
chips.
lot of those are now corn-type chips.
Corn chips,
They
yeah,
got
tortilla
black
chips.
bean chips out
Right.
there. All of these are things that also seasoned, taste good, and so you don't have to say, well, I can't do vegetarian. I can't do it. Yes, you can.
Well,
yes, you can.
the word is whole foods,
Whole foods.
plant-based.
Plant-based. That's what you will see.
Yeah.
That was you. That's
Because
what
we
you
can
will see.
be unhealthy vegetarians.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Can we
Okay,
get back
so
on top of there?
are we going to add something else to
No,
this?
we're finished now. Guess what I'm going to do now?
Okay.
Now I'm going to just go ahead and put in the rest of the black beans. And I'm going to also put in the tomato with chilies. I'm going to stir that up. Look at that combination. The thing is, we eat with our eyes. If it looks good, smells good, economical, I'm willing to try it. And you can see that what we've been preparing here in the whole Mexican cuisine is that it's also economical, and also it looks good. And we haven't even finished yet, okay?
Okay, so we got,
So now we get ready to put in,
You
we're
got
gonna put in
the chives,
the lime juice.
Lime juice. Okay.
And we're also going to put in the cilantro.
All right. Now
No,
this is,
coriander. This is coriander.
okay.
I
Now
like it
is this from my garden too?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Will you smell that smell? Can you smell that? You can smell the lime. You smell all the different combinations here. This is
And this
good.
is the
And
what's
this is going to be.
Scallions.
These are the. Yes, this is scallion.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You want to put
Go
that
ahead.
in?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Yummy, yummy. Look at that. Look at the color. Once again, beautiful color. I just always say God made everything beautiful in His time. When you think about the foods and stuff that we have on the marketplace, remember, once again, we talk about defeating diabetes. Someone says, I don't eat any carbs whatsoever.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm on a low carb diet.
No carb.
Okay, so what are you trying to say? Well, I don't eat any breads or any potatoes. I don't eat any pasta. I just eat mostly fruit. Okay.
And when they say
fruit
that,
is a carbohydrate. So that's why we explain the different types of carbohydrates. All right. So and they're like almost like potatoes. So I don't eat potatoes. Potatoes is good as long as you eat it with the skin on.
The potato said, please keep my skin on.
Yes.
Stop taking the skin off, chopping me up, and frying me in a bunch of oil.
There you go. Now it went from complex to refined.
Okay, but I know what you said. Did she take the French fries away? No. Just guess what?
Oh,
You
yes.
can take a baked potato,
Yes.
wash it all off real good, cut it up into strips like you would see a regular French fry. You can actually spray your sheet pan, put it in the oven about between 375 and 400 degrees. Guess what? In a few minutes, you will have French fries. Yes, you will. French
That's
fries.
not fried,
French
but that's
fries is
baked.
done in baking.
Yes.
You can put a little seasoned salt on of it, and you are ready to go. So the bottom line is that we find people that says they have a lot of excuses, but you know what? The excuse is nothing compared to what can happen if we continue to eat and do the things we're doing. We're just asking for trouble.
And folks, let me
so-
just say this. We want to keep all our limbs on our
Oh, my
body.
goodness. Yes, yes,
The
yes,
foot,
yes.
the toe, the leg. I've seen too many of those over the years, and it's needless that amputations are 150,000 per year, and it happens every 3.5 minutes.
Well, we know.
It doesn't have to be.
And you've also said that when someone comes in and they got the foot amputated,
Yes.
unfortunately, you say later on they're going to come back and they're going to have.
Now, I've seen that in surgery,
Yes.
where we do a person's foot, either at the ankle or half a foot, come back maybe a year or 2 years later, I know it's the same person. Oh, wait a minute. Now we're working either below the knee or above the knee, in that order. The same person, like maybe a year or 2 later. I recognize that happened more than once. So if you see in this program, it doesn't have to happen to you.
Well, of course, we're in health evangelism, and so one of the things that we enjoy doing is going to another state or even our own area we live in and putting on these conferences.
Yes.
And Defeating Diabetes is an actual conference that we do. And people, where we used to do it in churches, now we do it in hotels, convention centers, because when you take it out into the community where the people are, those who really have things going on, when you move into the community and they see a Defeating Diabetes conference coming up, guess what? The people come from everywhere, not only the person who has diabetes, but also the children of those individuals, the wife or husband of those individuals, because they want to know, how can I get this together. Where I'm at right now, the state I'm in right now,
Yes.
is there any hope for me? There's always hope. God is the God of second chances. And if we will do what we need to do, he will do what he will always do, and that is save our lives.
So in South Central Conference, next year, Pentecost 2025. So in South Central Conference, we're adding health evangelism to Pentecost 2025 next year, and we encourage others who are watching as well to incorporate also health evangelism. This is Christ's ministry, Matthew 4:23, the first time the word gospel is used in the Bible, in the New Testament. The second time, Matthew 9:35. The third time, Matthew 11, verse 5. All three times the word gospel is used, and also ministering to the people's physical needs is also included as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we got one more recipe.
I know she's not going to have no dessert on this program because they're talking about defeating diabetes.
Because people say, if I'm a diabetic, I cannot have any desserts.
No dessert, no
We've
dessert.
heard that before.
All right, we got a dessert for you on this one also, defeating
Simple
diabetes.
carbohydrate.
Let's look at this recipe.
All right, let's do it.
Grilled pineapples. It calls for 1 fresh pineapple peeled and cut into slices, either 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch cuts, and then 1 tablespoon of canola oil. All right, okay. So we've got everything together, and we're just now going to finish up with that pineapple.
Yeah, we already put things out already that we have done, so we're going to add to that this last recipe, honey.
Last one, and believe it or not, fresh pineapple, fresh pineapple.
Fresh
Okay.
pineapple.
Okay, not canned pineapple, fresh
Not
pineapple.
canned
All
with
right?
molasses thick syrup. No, we don't want that. Fresh pineapple.
So all I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to paint them with a little bit of the canola oil,
Oh, okay.
okay? So that we need ridges on it.
Yeah. Now your skillet is heating
Skillet's
now.
heating up.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I need it to be, let's make sure the skillet, because we're ready to do some grilling. For real, for real. I'll turn it down if I need to.
Okay.
All right, because you want to make sure the skillet is nice and hot.
Now, did you paint it on both sides?
Yes, once I put it in there, I'll paint the next
Oh,
side.
okay.
Okay.
You turn it over.
And you want to make sure when you use your grill that you want it to go down so that you can get the lines on it. All right?
Okay.
So let's go ahead on and get our first one up. And just put it on the grill.
Yeah, I've heard so many times, I'm a diabetic, I cannot have fruit. And I don't know how many times we've heard that, right, honey?
I don't know.
And so again, the fruit is the first food group mentioned in the Word of God, the first chapter of the Bible, the first book of the Bible. And fruit with this natural sugars in there and with the fiber.
Now let me say this. There is a lot of pineapple recipes on the market. Okay, pineapple recipes.
Yes.
But the pineapple recipes, and you remember now we're plant-based and we're trying to keep it simple. And they actually was requesting, because people say, where do you get your recipes from? I look at a lot of recipes. I try to see if I can change them up to make them more healthy. If I really can, I'll leave them alone. But when I saw the pineapple one, I actually thought to myself, what if we use a fresh pineapple? What if we cut it ourselves?
Okay.
Now, when I saw that out there, as far as people doing the recipe, they had cinnamon and they had sugar, but they actually coated on top of the pineapple.
Oh, okay.
All right. And I kept saying, well, now we're talking defeating diabetes,
Yes.
so we definitely can't be doing any sugar.
God already put the sweetness
Cinnamon.
in the pineapple already.
Yeah. That's
now
not
you
gonna
have a refined product
Right.
on top of the
On
pineapple.
top of that.
Okay.
So I tested, because I love that. My main thing is food research. Looking at foods and seeing
And
how
food stylists.
and how it's going to come together, how it's going to look in the end, how's it going to look like the things that you're used to eating, And so with that in mind, I said, well, what if I just put a little bit of, I need canola oil, or you're going to have to spray your skillet with that.
Okay.
Because you don't want the pineapple to stick, because it's got sugar in it.
Oh,
naturally.
okay. That's right. That's right. So we'll stick. That's right.
So the bottom line is that you want to do something. So I said, well, let me try a little bit of canola oil and put the canola oil on top of the on top of the pineapple.
Okay.
All right. And then once it gets that coloring I wanted to get, the stripes across it, then I flip it over on the other side. And so therefore, you still wind up getting your dessert, because it is, once again, a simple carbohydrate.
And the thing about it is, because it's fruit, now my blood sugar goes up. your blood sugar's supposed to go up.
Yes.
That's God's design. It just shouldn't stay up. It should be up for maybe 2 hours or so and then go back down to a normal level. So this is quick energy right here, fruit, and also complex carbohydrates, and also no processed, that's the bad, and no ultra processed, that's the ugly.
That's the ugly.
That's the ugly.
So what did we do today? We did steak, mock steak, fajitas, and on those fajitas you can always add, I got the soy sour cream, and I got the salsa to go with that as well, all right? And then we did a Mexican rice.
All right, Mexican brown rice.
Yeah.
Complex.
Then we did guacamole. Guacamole.
Tortilla chips.
Yes, with the chips going with it. Corn tortilla chips, all right. And then we also went to our black bean salsa.
Yes. Complex carbohydrates.
Yes.
All right, black bean.
And then we
legumes.
did our grill. Let's just see. Are we
Now we're
about
doing
ready?
some more grill here.
Let's see if we're going to get us a, let's see what we're going to, let's see if we did anything at all. Oh, got a little bit turning. It's turning.
So it takes a little while to get those lines on there.
Want to make sure you get those lines on it.
Yes.
All right. And these are absolutely, I don't know if you can smell that. You can smell that pineapple. It's doing this thing right now. So the combination. Usually, if you don't, you say, I'm not going to get no pineapple and be cutting it all up and everything. That's just too much work. Okay.
Too much work.
Okay. So how about in the supermarkets now? They actually have already cut the pineapple up for you. Cut it up, took all the skin off of it, put it into a round container, okay? And you can purchase it that way, already ready to go. All you have to do is slice it into the size that you actually want to slice it to.
Everything is so convenient nowadays.
So much more convenient.
Yes, you don't have to work yourself to death. Yes.
So that's the name of the game. And don't forget, we actually talked about the fact of the stuff 'em shells that you can actually get also in the marketplace.
What's it? Stand and stuff?
Stand and stuff.
Yeah, stand and stuff. All right.
And most of the time, people see those and they're used to putting lettuce and tomatoes and onions in it and that kind of way. But these, we have a mock steak.
Yes.
Right, a mock steak.
Yes.
And so that looks really good as well.
Now the sauce, the whites, what is that?
Now
Because we didn't do that, did we?
No,
In the middle
because
there?
the sour cream.
The sour cream.
And the salsa actually goes on that fajita.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Then you pick it up and then you eat it that way.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Yes.
So
I like this right here where they each have their own little slot where they belongs there.
4 of them there as well. Those are also out there on the marketplace. I'm always looking for something different.
Always,
something new.
always.
What's going on? Let's see
How
what's
we
going
doing
on
with
here.
the, okay, now it's coming with the lines now. Yes.
Look
Okay,
at
there
that.
we go.
Look at that one.
All right.
All right, let's see. Yeah.
Okay, this
That's
is
what I'm
working
talking
right
about,
now.
okay?
Yes.
So they look really good. They're ready. You want to make sure your skillet's hot. Remember, don't forget to put the canola oil on top of it to get the lines you need to get. We already did that already, so that you can see what it looks like the finished product. We're going to go ahead and line these up to go on top of that as well.
So we're going to add that to our
the dish
tray
we already
already.
did there as
Is it
well.
ready to go now or just about a little bit more?
Second.
Just
I want to go ahead and turn the heat off.
Okay. Yeah.
You can smell the smell. Yeah.
I think we have now, interested in my wife's cookbook, so I think we have the information. Let's put that on the screen. Our contact information should be on the bottom of the screen. There it is. That's our email address and also our telephone number. That's my personal cell as well. And just contact us about the recipes and also the cookbooks that we have available. You have 2 cookbooks, so just briefly talk about those 2.
Vegetarian Cooking Made Easy and Global Vegetarian Cookbook Made Easy.
Now,
and
they're
a
called
supplement.
vegetarian, but it's basically all 100% plant-based.
Absolutely.
Although it's called vegetarian, it's actually plant-based. And so the first one has about 120 recipes. That's Vegetarian Cooking Made Easy. The second one, Global, has over 160 recipes.
Yes.
Again, all plant-based, all right? And both cookbooks do not have the same recipes in either one.
That's
They're
right.
different recipes. So one is mostly American recipes done in a healthier format.
And Global?
The Global is recipes from around the world, Caribbean, Thai, Mexican, Italian, etc. And I have to test all of these recipes. I mean, I'm up to my ankles doing this. I mean, somebody has to do it, and I'm the guy, but just keep those recipes coming, honey.
I can't tell you how many people say, can I possibly come into your home and test those recipes out?
Yeah, and I say, no, not today, and tomorrow's not looking good either, all right? So we got just a few more minutes. Can we sample this before we go out, or just maybe a little bit, or just maybe
Are you trying to
a piece
sample
of something, because I got my eye on the clock, and
baby, this is going to be hot.
Baby,
Okay.
you hot too, baby. But I want the pineapple right now, for right now. So let's kind of go with that. Oh, see, okay, see, you kicked me again. Okay. Okay, here.
Stomp it.
Okay, honey, we got.
Stop it.
Okay, okay. It's time to close. John 10:10. Jesus said, "I come that they might have life and have it more abundantly." See you next time.